4 districts, 10 candidates, 6 joined the Voice of Reason. This is their story. Starting in District 1, the incumbent running for the 3rd term for the Wichita School Board, Betty Arnold, joins the Voice of Reason.
I have served on the board for 10 years. This is my 3rd term running. What got me involved is just caring for kids. Someone had to step up and inspire me, and I've always appreciated that. So now I'm in a good position to give back, or I have been in a position. Well, one of the reasons that I initially ran was to try and work with the achievement gap. I was very concerned with the African American achievement. It has always lagged significantly behind. And what I've seen over the past 10 years is that we've gradually narrowed that gap. I think one of the major things has been just to focus on the fact that we have a problem. And one of the great things about this community is when we acknowledge this is a problem area, then we put our efforts, our energies, our hearts, our minds together to try and work toward a solution. Unfortunately, when it comes to education, it's not an overnight success. It's just day by day by day. We've looked at a number of ways of trying to save money. And if you think over the past 8-9 years, $98 million is a lot of money. And there have been a lot of things we've had to sacrifice. Not only have we had to sacrifice increase in wages, though we have marginally been able to offer something to the staff over each negotiated year, it has not really been significant. But also there have been other areas that are just as significant because we've had to cut spending on those support things for our students, programs for our students.
Her challenger, local activist and the youngest candidate in the election, Ben Blankley.
I've lived in Wichita for 10 years, and I've worked as a systems integration engineer at Spirit Air Systems that whole time. And so I come to the candidacy from an advocacy activist kind of background. I was previously on the board of directors of the Wichita Community Theater. I was elected president there, dealt with the community, dealt with issues involving public policy and things like that. One of the things that I could bring that's unique is I'm one of the youngest candidates running in this race. I'm a young parent myself. I have a full-time day job. I have a lot in common with not only the parents, but also the teachers and the certified staff and the school district. So I think I can bring a unique perspective to the decisions at the board table from that type of background. At the local level, what we can do is we can tailor our specific curriculum to the individual building even, because we serve a wide variety of students. And so in order to provide an adequate and equitable education for every student, you need to specialize. You have IEPs, you have honors classes, things like that, that you can achieve through the budget and policy process that can customize the learning environment for each student and allow everybody to succeed. Across our city, our magnet schools are in our impoverished areas, and so you can pull in a wider variety of socioeconomic backgrounds by incentivizing students to get bused to a magnet school instead. And so one way we can further incentivize that is to expand the magnet program and allow for some internal school choice among the public schools.
In District 2, 3 candidates are joining the race. Deborah Washington did not join the Voice of Reason, but the other 2 did. In District number 2, Julie Hedrick has been involved in the administration for the Wichita School District and now looking to join the school board.
I have been a lifelong resident of Wichita Public Schools, and so I really love Wichita Public Schools. I went through them as a child. And then I had a 28-year career with Wichita Public Schools in the facilities division. Instead of being on the teaching side, I was on the operational side. So I just really love our district. I'm a proponent of public education and of USD 259 in particular. And now I'd like to have the opportunity to just go back and serve in a different capacity. Well, I think the importance of the classroom size is just the challenge for our teachers. teachers. Right now in the state, because of all the budget cuts that we've had over the last 9 years, education hasn't been as valued as much as maybe it should be. So our teachers haven't had significant raises over the last years. So as our budget increases, we need to get those salaries back up for the teachers. They have a really challenging job, and the larger classroom sizes are, the more challenging it is. But in Wichita Public Schools, we educate all children, and our teachers are the most important person for our child's education in the school. So whatever we can do to promote our teachers, to tell them what a great job they're doing, and to encourage them and to get more teachers in, more young people into education, those are what issues are important to me.
And the third candidate for District 2, Trish Heilman, has looked towards the school board after focusing on parent involvement in the community.
I have 5 kids in the district. I have been serving in PTOs and site councils and all that kind of stuff through their whole schooling. And I became involved in the school board when I was trying to advocate for a teacher that I thought was getting a raw deal. And so I have been the last 4 years organizing a parent group for her. PTO presidents, vice presidents come to my house quarterly and get to tell Joy what's going on in their schools. And then Joy can tell those parents what's going on at the school board. It's this connection that no other district has. We have a lot of discussions. In 2012, they closed schools, and they shared that they've been talking about closing these schools for 18 months, but they only talked to the public about it 2 months before. And then parents were up in arms. If they had had 18 months to advocate, to get used to this idea, that would have been one thing. And if they had been having those brave discussions 18 months ago, it would have been a different outcome than the huge blow-up that it was in 2012. I think one of the biggest things we have to do is unshackle teachers' hands. We have been, for the last 10 years, putting in front of them scripted curriculums where they have got a script, except for amazing actors who really can show off their stuff, can really get kids excited when they're teaching from a script. I think that we have overstructured them. Currently, we do something called a bell-to-bell curriculum. From the minute the bell rings in the morning to the minute the bell rings in the evening, they have a schedule. What we need to do is offer parents that actual choice. Currently, we have our magnet system. Parents who don't want to go to their neighborhood school can fill out a magnet application, but they know that they've been put in a lottery. You have a chance to go to the magnet school you want to go to. I think we need to increase the ability of parents to know that they're going to not have to go to that school that's their local school by giving them a choice.
In District number 5, Peter Grant is set to challenge the incumbent, Mike Rohde. Unfortunately, neither candidate was able to join the Voice of Reason on KQAM. And finally, in District 6, 3 candidates are on the ballot. 2 joined the show. Ron Rosales was not able to join. Walt Chappell, however, looks to join the school board after years of advocating for education legislation in the state of Kansas.
Well, I've got over 40 years' experience actually in education. I have my PhD from Michigan State in that area of curriculum and instruction. But I've helped work both at the K-12 and at the secondary level. It's been a real treat to work with students at all grade levels. We've got a lot of places where we could use the funds more effectively, make sure the kids learn job skills. But we're using funds for all kinds of fads. We have to have relevant curriculum for one. I taught science, and I made sure that I tried to make it very interesting, something that kids could relate to. And when they did, they saw, here's a teacher that's really trying his best to make sure they learn something that they can apply. Too often we've got very esoteric stuff going on in the classes. It's boring, and many of the kids don't see any relevance to it. So they just shut off their brain, let alone, leave the school. First thing we got to do is get rid of Common Core. It's making our teachers go nuts, trying to read a script, follow a standard. They've got to be on a particular standard on a given week, and if they're not, then the principal can say, you're not doing a good job. Well, that's crazy. And many times the kids are seeing through it. The math is just totally confusing for parents, teachers, and the students. So if we get back to teaching the basics, reading, writing, arithmetic, the things that we all know work, and when they're interested in a topic, they'll read all kinds of stuff about that. We don't have to force them into square peg in a round hole.
And their opponents, Shirley Jefferson, a former school board member, looks to join the school board again.
I am a retired compliance investigator for Boeing. I have been retired since 2004. I have a Master of Science degree in human resources and also in business administration. But the reason that I'm running, education is just facing so many challenges from the inside out and also from the top down. Some of the ideas that I have, because I feel that the graduation rates, we've been working on those. The changing of the curriculum, doing everything that we can to make sure that our kids are learning. I believe that we're very strong in that area. My platform is about family engagement solutions. I believe that we need to do a better job of working with our parents because they are the first teachers. And so when they come into our schools, we need to make sure that we're treating them with respect and also helping them to step through the processes with the school district. Fiscal accountability, of course, everyone knows that there is nothing we can do about what the state gives us, but what I am committed to is doing everything that I can to make sure that every dollar that we spend goes toward the success of our children.